who was really in charge, Obama or Biden? I really want to know. Biden's decline, the media knew that, and they tried to cover it up. I mean, seriously, Biden is the only person that can walk on the stage, shake hands with nobody, and somehow still be the most stable Democrat in the room. Anyway, man, let's look at CNN and how Abby Phillips is trying to take up for this.
If things go south at the debate, me, Barack, Nancy, and Hakeem have a plan B. Schumer would later deny it. It's a political problem that we have here.
Did he mean go south at the debate in that Joe Biden totally, had a malfunction the way we saw, or did he mean just go south at the debate like he doesn't perform well? The fact
it could have been both.
The fact that he was only concerned about the optics and not about the fact that the president of the United States might be in cognitive decline, might be mentally impaired, to me speaks volumes about the lack of character of Chuck Schumer. But the idea that we did not know about this for the years leading up to the presidential campaign, we all saw it with our own eyes. Video after video, speech after speech, statement after statement. The Hur report. The fact that we have people saying today, oh, I didn't know. We had no idea, is outrageous. That's number one. Number two, the cover-up is outrageous. And number three, people were arguing with a straight face that this man could serve 4 more years until, of course, it became untenable at the debate. Honestly, Jake and Alex have done a great service here. This book needs to be written. These stories need to be told because we've lived through the greatest scandal in modern American political history, the cover-up of the decline of the president, the argument that he could serve 4 more years. If he were in office today, if he had somehow won and were in office today, you'd have the same people on TV today saying, he's fine. So, behind closed doors, he's fine, and you know it. It wasn't just deception about a campaign. The man was the sitting president of the United States. There's more at stake here than just politics. There's in-the-moment decision-making. Was the country at risk? Who was making decisions on behalf of the country? Because obviously the president was impaired, and there were people who knew it. There were people, those same people were lying about it publicly. And now the real question is, who was making decisions behind the scenes? You can't just move past it. It happened, and you can't move past it.
And of course, everybody's saying that good old Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Obama, is the guy who's really the puppet master behind everything. This is just messed up, man. Joe Biden's decline didn't just happen overnight. The media knew about it, and the Democrats knew about it, and they tried to cover it up and make it seem like what we were seeing wasn't what we were seeing. The warning signs were everywhere. I mean, the man couldn't walk up 2 steps, literally. He's shaking hands with ghosts. It wasn't a secret. It was willful denial for political gain. Now, CNN repeatedly tried to call everything like cheap fakes and all this other stuff. Democrats are still asking, how could we have possibly known about Biden's cognitive impairment? I mean, what? Seriously? You need some videos? Huh? Yeah, she defending Biden like it's the last iPhone charger. Just admit the battery is dead, okay? Let's do this.
And so far, we are still waiting for anyone to point out where Joe Biden had to make a professional decision or a presidential address where he was unable to do his job because of mental decline.
The Hur report, he had to testify. Robert Hur wrote in a report, I can't even charge this man because if I put him in front of a jury, they're going to say, oh, this is just a confused old man. We could never get a conviction. We had official government evidence that he was in cognitive decline. And what did the White House do? They smeared Robert Hur. They smeared him.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with
Do you not feel lied to? Do you guys, the Democrats who ran your party, who ran the White House, the people who lied to you as a journalist, do you not feel any sense of outrage about Green or anybody else in the line?
We don't know what's going to be in the book, by the way. So
why, Basil, is a comment about diminished faculties in here?
I have no idea why the need to put that in there, unless somebody's foot was on the gas or finger on the scale, whatever. I'm mixing metaphors, but you understand my point. That I have no idea why you would want to put that in the document. But at this point,
it's a warning.
It's not. Well, but
I mean,
why
I
put the
support
warning?
Republicans
But
are
why
going to
put
seize
the
on it,
why
but
put the warning in
it is.
there?
I mean, did it strike you as odd? I mean, it kind of seems completely beyond the scope of the conversation, which is whether he willfully classified.
I don't know if it's odd because the White House pushback was, well, the day he did his interview, it was the day after the Israel-Hamas war started. So are you telling me that the president's mental faculties are mostly diminished when he's dealing with a crisis? This
That's
is
not a
vital.
good response. That's like saying he had
vital
slept.
information.
I understand, but they
This
shouldn't
is
have had to
vital
do it.
information.
Very vital information. That man could not hold water. And you want him in charge of the USA? Look, Rain posted, my 9-year-old noticed that Joe Biden was losing his mind in 2021. Many of us knew, even in 2019, that he was starting to decline cognitively. This is ridiculous. Marine vet mom also added, I commend you for being rational surrounded by extremists of MSM. I couldn't do it. Yes, it's the fact that they're trying to sit here and deny it and play it like this is just, okay, it's just more gaslighting. That's really all this is. Constantly trying to downplay the narrative about his decline. And this right here was a flashback clip in last year in February, early 2024 when they was warning. Now, finally, CNN panelist host Abby Phillip was called out by her Trump derangement syndrome. It was long overdue.
The United States Constitution would like to have a word. That's why people care,
Yeah,
right?
people care
because
of
the
the
reason that that's in the Constitution is to prevent the president of the United States from accepting things that are being perceived as bribes.
What is the national
The
interest
goal of the
this
trip is not to get a giant gift that he can say belongs to him as president, but then he takes with him when he leaves the office.
Abby, you have to distance yourself from Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah, because it was for, wasn't it for the Department of Defense?
It's irrelevant to policy. It doesn't matter.
Okay,
What matters
Kevin,
is, why are all these AI guys
have
on this
you
trip?
heard of the emoluments clause?
Wait. Why do you have all the leaders?
Kevin, no, seriously, it's a serious question. Have you heard of the emoluments clause? Do you understand that that is in the Constitution?
He doesn't. No.
And do you understand that even if you think that maybe it might be okay,
how many fairies dance on a pin does not do policy.
Incredible word.
Of course, man, they want to hold on to all these straw man arguments. They want to hold on to anything Trump does is just bad to them. They're never going to report anything good towards him. Let it have been Donald Trump with the auto pen. Let that happen. Seriously. Mary asked, these are not people we should take seriously. Trump is currently in office, so why are they concerned with what happens when he leaves office in 4 years? As a country, we have far bigger issues to be concerned about right now. We most certainly do. So let me get this straight, y'all. He freezes on stage, Biden that is. He mumbles through a sentence, and we're supposed to believe that footage somehow glitched or it was a cheap fake. This is not a PlayStation, bro. This is America. We have common sense out here. Well, some of us do. Watch this clip. I'm put it on a big screen. Watch this clip and tell me we if you watch this, we got to be on the same page after this. I'm gonna let it play 3 times. I don't get it, man. Democrats treating Biden like he's still, that one uncle at the cookout, lost his step, but they still letting him grill. I ain't letting him grill none of my food, boy. Go on somewhere, man. Okay, now, the caption says, we're all on the same page about Biden being mentally incompetent and laying senile-ish. Who was running the country? We have a right to know. Obama and this puppet master theory ain't far-fetched. He once said he'd love, what did he say? Something about he'd love to sit in his sweats if he'd love a third term if he could just sit back in his sweatshirt, control it from the basement. And from Biden's presidency, it looked like he said, bet. I got you. That's what it really feels like, man. Y'all just duped us. Here's the clip right here, as a matter of fact. Oh, I don't think this is the exact clip. Oh, it could be.
I could make an arrangement where I had a stand-in, a front man or front woman, and they had an earpiece in, and I was just in my basement in my sweats looking through the stuff, and then I could sort of deliver the lines, but somebody else was doing all the talking and ceremony. I'd be fine with that. I could make.
I'm just saying. His quote, I love a third term if someone else has the face. Biden's auto pen signature on most major documents. Who's really pulling the strings? I really want to know. The puppet master theory, I told y'all, it don't sound too far-fetched anymore. But moving on, let's go ahead and go to this cheap fake. CNN repeatedly called real footage cheap fakes. That's Jake Tapper, Dana Bash, Darcy. You know what? Y'all know how this goes. Big screen it is.
Other people who were there, and we should note that the Biden White House falsely, when people showed that clip and asked what was going on, said it was a cheap fake. They did this all the time when there was video that seemed to show Biden acting in an odd or unusual, seemingly out of it way. They would call it a cheap fake. It was not fake. It was actual video.
A lot of memes and what the White House is calling cheap fakes, which means that there are videos that are being put out on social media and then amplified on conservative media that in some cases are just not right, and in other cases are highly, highly misleading of President Biden. So it's the question that I started this conversation with, is how much to talk about it versus how much to just kind of ignore it, which is a reality. You have a 78-year-old and an 82-year-old, 81-year-old, and we have lots of examples of both of them. Yeah. Maybe Trump's aren't played as much, but both of them appearing to use your words, lose a step.
I think what the White House and Biden campaign, what they have an issue with is that these outlets are wrapping these videos in very misleading context, right? Saying that this is evidence that Biden was freezing. He's unable to walk off stage on his own. And that's obviously not the case. But that's how it's being portrayed in right-wing media. And it plays into this years-long narrative where they have tried to portray Biden as a senile old man, incapable of governing the country. And this is just the latest example.
It's so annoying. They acting like we're all blind. We got 4K now. In some cases, 8K. I think even 16K. I could be wrong, but we got Ks, okay? We see this man short-circuiting. Well, we seen it.
You know, the White House press secretary used the phrase cheap fakes, the idea of cheap fakes. Let me explain what that is to people. We've been worried for years about AI deep fakes, that computer-generated images are going to trick people into believing something that's totally false. Cheap fakes are a little bit simpler. They're cheap. They're just distorted, out-of-context videos, chopped up in certain ways, constructed in certain ways. That's what we're seeing. That's what the Biden administration, the Biden campaign is so worried about right now. But make no mistake, they are worried about this. This is a real problem. This is not some made-up fiction. The videos are oftentimes made up, but the problem is real.
Keep calling real footage cheap fakes. Nicole Wallace edited out the Obama clip of Biden being led off stage. And of course, Abby Phillips, like I said earlier, that she continues to downplay the narrative. And I'll say it again. The media filtered reality to protect the narrative that Joe Biden was cognitive. But we seen with our own... Y'all are starting to get pissed off. I don't like nobody insulting my intelligence. And the Democrats are just... every single day, that's what they do. Insult my intelligence over and over and over and over and over and over. Let's read some comments. This really exposes how CNN just repeats DNC talking points. They aren't journalists. Bookmark. This is getting shared everywhere. What a liar he is. Tapper is desperate to save his failing career. He was right, and with the rest of the fake news media covering up for Biden's severe cognitive decline. He's trying to absolve his surreal journalism. It'll never work. He received a lifelong lack of credibility. Ouch. My God, they say you're not invited. Now, remember how I just said Nicole Wallace called the video or edited the video of Obama leading Biden off. Well, here we go, y'all.
There's a growing and insidious trend in right-wing media, broadcast, print, and social media. It is to take highly misleading and selectively edited videos of President Biden directly from Republican National Committee social media accounts and then use those videos to spread messages virally to cast doubt on President Biden's fitness for office. Here is this headline from the New York Post, quote, Biden appears to freeze up, has to be led off stage by Obama at Megabucks LA fundraiser. The full video posted by Biden finance chair on Twitter shows something entirely different. Biden reacting to applause and then walking off stage with former President Obama. It comes less than 1 week after the New York Post made a cover out of another piece of deceptively edited tape, calling him meanderer-in-chief due to what they claim was Biden walking away during a skydiving demonstration during the G7 summit last week. The only problem is that the full video, which emerged almost instantly, shows Biden was going over to congratulate one of the skydivers who's cropped out of the video entirely. Both the articles are based on cheap fakes, videos of real events that are intentionally manipulated to fool viewers, released on an RNC opposition research social media account with zero independent fact-checking by these so-called journalists and spread throughout the right-wing ecosystem.
Turns out Biden didn't even recognize George Clooney, one of the people hosting the fundraiser for him. Nice job on misleading your audience, Nicole.
That's the best.
I mean, look at this. Is that not Obama leading him off? Ah, man. Much like his presidency, Biden's economy was a fraud. Could y'all believe those job numbers were completely fabricated?
Administration claims to have added almost 400,000 jobs. This is from Town Hall. From July through September of last year, but new data released this week suggests none of those jobs ever existed. In stark contrast to the monthly job reports showing an increase of 399,000 jobs during the third quarter, these numbers show a decline of 1,000 private sector jobs. The administration claims to have added almost...
Oh my gosh, they lie about everything. Everything. Like, we are seriously blessed to have made it as far as we have made it here, from Biden's administration. We survived. Now, I'm praying that we can recover from, the lies and everything. We are healing, but 4,000 jobs claimed, but only negative 1,000 actually created. Bruh. And it says the Bureau of Labor Statistics revising figures down by 236,000. If they'll do this to the economy, if they telling the truth about this, you know what I'm saying now, I don't know, man. We just need transparency, better transparency. Whether you're a Democrat or Republican, transparency matters. And if Biden wasn't mentally fit to serve, who was really running the country? Do you think that the media deliberately hid Biden's decline? I'll go and tell you now. I do. Anywho, I want y'all to be safe today. Please go check on somebody you can quite literally be saving their life. Outside of that, man, keep your head up. Away from all this liberal nonsense, really.